Numbers don't lie. Sometimes they whisper warnings. Sometimes they scream inevitability. In 1944, as World War II raged across the Pacific, one statistic defined Japan's destiny. 296,000 versus 2,374,094. A cold, brutal mathematical truth that no amount of courage could overcome.
296,000 tons. That was Japan's projected shipbuilding capacity for 1944. 2,374,094 tons. That was the United States shipbuilding output in the same year. The war in the Pacific was not merely a clash of fleets. It was a clash of industrial worlds.
Japan entered the war with brilliant naval engineers, elite pilots, and a fearsome navy. But one thing it did not have was steel. The island nation lacked domestic oil, iron, aluminum, and copper. Every battleship, every aircraft carrier, every Zero fighter demanded materials Japan could barely supply. The Imperial war machine ran on scarcity. The American war machine ran on abundance. When Japanese fighters struck Pearl Harbor, they awakened a giant. A giant with 132 million people, vast natural resources, and the largest industrial base on Earth. Factories that once built cars now built carriers. Civilian workforces grew into military assembly armies. And every year, production increased. Where Japan produced hundreds, the United States produced thousands. Where Japan built ships in months, America built them in weeks.
Japan could not build enough ships. Worse, they could not protect the ones they had. American submarines, just 2% of the U.S. Navy, were sinking nearly half of Japan's merchant fleet. Tankers, transports, supply ships, all vanished beneath the waves. The statistic did not remain a projection for long. Japan's shipping losses skyrocketed. And without shipping, no fuel, no supplies, no war.
By late 1944, Japan's military was starving, literally and mechanically. Aircraft sat idle for lack of fuel. Troops received half rations. Entire island garrisons were cut off, abandoned by the empire they served. Japan could not replace ships. Japan could not replace planes. Japan could not replace trained pilots. While Japan shrank, the United States expanded. In 1944 alone, America produced 28 aircraft carriers, 10 battleships and cruisers, over 16,000 aircraft, thousands of landing craft, escorts, and transports. Japan could not fight this. No nation on Earth could.
Historians debate battles. They debate decisions, leaders, and strategies. But in reality, Japan lost the Pacific War before the first shot was fired. Its industrial ceiling was immovable. America's industrial potential was unlimited. 296,000 could never outweigh 2,374,094. Not in 1944, not ever. As American fleets closed in and Japan's skies filled with Allied bombers, the empire's destiny became undeniable. Cities burned, the Navy sank, supplies collapsed, and eventually the war ended not with a final battle, but with an industrial verdict handed down years earlier.
Wars are often remembered for heroes, battles, and tragic choices. But sometimes, history turns unarithmetic. In the Pacific War, one statistic sealed the fate of millions. A nation that could build 296,000 tons of ships against a nation that could build over 2 million. In the end, the Pacific was not conquered by strategy alone, but by the factories that fed the fleets and the numbers that could not be denied.